biggest investigative team defending Southern California for you.
Las Vegas, the high-stakes capital of America. What a setting to decide the last couple of playoff spots. No doubt the biggest game of Derek Carr's career so far as he tries to send the Raiders to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. And tonight they host the terrible by 7-year temptation, Justin Herbert. Season football. It's a win or tie, and you're in. Lose and you're out. And here's why. What happened earlier today in Jacksonville after an upset loss. They're in the playoffs unless tonight's game ends up in a tie. Tennessee has locked down the 1 with a win. Kansas City is the 2. Buffalo's trying to hold on against the Jets in the fourth quarter right now. For the 3, Cincinnati is done and finished. For the Patriots, who are losing, the Chargers and Raiders coming up on Sunday Night Football. And as we said, it's the Steelers in unless there's a tie. What a football night in America, the best football night of the year. We got tiebreakers, we got matchups, we got everything here for you. We're glad you're with us. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, and Drew Brees. Let's focus first on tonight's game. The winner is in. As we said, a tie is the only way the Steelers are out. Then both of these teams are in. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about on the field and the guys under center. What a great quarterback matchup this one is, Drew.
Yeah, it is. And I really like Justin Herbert. Had a chance to spend some time with him in the preseason and watch him grow this entire year. It's been a year of building the foundational element there with the Chargers. They bring in Brandon Staley, create that defensive scheme, offensively go out and get Joe Lombardi. So you've seen them get better and better each and every week. He's got all kinds of playmakers around him. I look for him to have a big night tonight.
Well, both of these teams have great quarterbacks, but I tell you, the key is going to be stopping the run tonight. Both teams struggled early on, both teams getting better, but they're still giving up over 4 yards a carry, both the Raiders and the Chargers, and they're playing explosive running games. Who is going to stop the run tonight?
Eckler had a good game in game 1 for the Chargers against the Raiders. Raiders do get back Josh Jacobs. He is active. And Darren Waller, their great tight end who's missed the last 5 games with knee and back injuries, he's also active. The inactive list just coming out a couple of minutes ago. It's been an eventful season, an eventful few weeks for these teams for their path to this game tonight. For more on that, we welcome in Steve Kornacki. Steve, take us through.
Yeah, Mike, well, let's rewind the clock here. This was back in the middle of December, the start of Week 15. The Chargers back then looked like almost a lock to make the playoffs. They had a 78% chance. Remember, they were going into that Thursday night game against the Chiefs. We were talking about, can the Chargers run away with the division? Forget the wild card. Of course, the Chargers dropped that game. Then they dropped that awful one to Houston. All of a sudden, this is what happened to their playoff chances. And meanwhile, complete opposite story with the Raiders. They were at 14% going into Week 15. That's when they played the Browns. Remember that miraculous last-second drive to pull out the win? This number would have been close to 0 if they hadn't done that. Suddenly, the Raiders get in a winning streak. Last week, both of these teams get a little bit of help from some others losing. Each team wins last week, and it sets this up perfectly. 9-7, 9-7. Play tonight, as you're saying. If the Raiders win this game, they are in the playoffs. If the Chargers win this game, they are in the playoffs. If they happen to tie, though, they both make the playoffs, and that is the only scenario right now where the Pittsburgh Steelers would miss the playoffs. Look at it this way. Currently, we've completed 265 games in this NFL season. One of them has ended in a tie. It involved the Steelers, if you remember. So 0.3% of all NFL games this year have ended in ties. I'd say that's the chance right now that the Steelers miss the playoffs. 0.3% chance if there's a tie.
So you're feeling good if you're a Steelers fan. Those numbers given to you as only as Kornacki can from Pro Football Focus. So let's talk about that tie scenario, because it was the topic of a lot of conversation this week, and we thought that won't matter because there's no way Indy's going to go to Jacksonville and lose, but they did. So now this tie is a possibility, Tony. As a coach, would this factor into any of your decision-making at any point tonight?
Very little. As Steve said, 0.3% chance, so I'm not even going to think about it until we get to overtime. Now, we saw a game, Pittsburgh went for it on 4th and 8 in overtime, right, where now you would probably pump that ball if you know a tie is going to win for you or get you in the playoffs. But until then, you're playing to win the game, Drew.
And as a player, you are playing to win the game. That's all you're focused on, doing whatever it takes, especially knowing that the playoffs is next week. You are wanting to be at your very best.
Right, because if you win, according to our handy-dandy chart here, your matchups get a little bit better, a little bit different. For example, like the Raiders, a tie, they guarantee they go to Kansas City. they don't want to do that.
My buddy Herm Edwards would tell you, you're not playing for a tie.
You play to win the game. We play to throw it over to Chris and Maria for a little bit more on one of the big performances today.
That's right, Mike. And we have a very special best throws for you this week, and that's because of Big Ben's potentially last regular season stand and how he played down the stretch.
Well, he was clutch, and like Mike said, I mean, we thought